So you're thinking about moving to Argyle, Texas. Well, here's the first thing I have to tell you, because it saves families a lot of confusion. Argyle isn't really one place. It's more like two. There's the Argyle everybody pictures, the country one. This part of Argyle comes with wide open spaces on acreage, a lot of horse properties with long driveways and big trees, and homes with their own wells and septic tanks, and the real quiet of country living. And then there's the other Argyle with newer homes and large master plan communities like Harvest and Canyon Falls, for example. These communities come with pools and trails and a lot more house packed onto a lot less land. With both of these options, we're talking about the same town name with the same incredible schools, but they both have a completely different lifestyle with a completely different cost, and honestly, both even have a completely different tax bill. So the real question when you move to Argyle isn't going to be, is Argyle right for me? It's going to be, which Argyle is right for me? And by the end of this video, hopefully you're gonna know. But in this video, I'm going to cover both versions. And we'll talk about the schools, including a boundary trap that catches a ton of people. Then there's the commute and the real cost of living here, including a couple of things that only come up when you're buying land. So make sure to stick around for that part, because having a well and septic system is a conversation most families have never had to have before. And of course, first up, my name's Kristen Carpentier, and I'm a licensed realtor here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I'm a mom to 4 amazing kids. So let's get into it. Now, Argyle sits within Denton County on the west side near Highway 377 and the I-35 West Freeway. And here's a fact that surprises everybody. The town of Argyle itself is actually pretty tiny. We're talking only around 5,000 people in the town proper. But Argyle, the way people mean it, is way bigger than that. The 76226 zip code and the Argyle School District footprint pull in a bunch of surrounding communities. There's communities like Harvest and Canyon Falls and some other neighboring areas as well. So when someone says they live in Argyle, they might be on 5 acres in the actual town of Argyle, or they might be in one of the newer homes in a master plan community. One that shares the name and the schools, but not much else. The personality across all of it is a little bit of country meets top-rated schools. The median age in Argyle skews a little bit older too, and incomes can run kind of high. And the overwhelming majority of people own their own homes, a number that is over 90%. This is a settle in, put down roots, we want kind of land and good schools kind of a place. It is the deliberate opposite of master planned density, where even the master plan parts here feel more spread out than a Frisco or a Prosper kind of area. Okay, so let's actually walk through the 2 types of Argyles. First, we have master planned Argyle. The Harvest community, I feel, is more of the standout here. It's what's called an agri-hood, and it's built around working community farms and gardens. There's a big central park, and it has playgrounds, a fitness barn, multiple pools, and a full-time lifestyle director running festivals and clubs all year long. Harvest also has won Community of the Year awards more than once. Now, homes in Harvest range from townhomes all the way up to large homes on 1 to 3 acre lots. So there's actually a lot of options inside it. Then we have Canyon Falls, which is the other big community within Argyle, but this one sits right where Argyle, Flower Mound, and North Lake all meet. It has something like 11 miles of trails with preserved creeks and large oak trees in it. It also has a clubhouse, resort pools, and even a splash pad. I personally think it is a gorgeous community. These 2 particular communities and the versions of Argyle where you get the newer homes, the amenities, the built-in community feel, and where your home is on city utilities and is part of an HOA. And choosing a master plan community here could land you in a mud district, but we'll get to what that does to your taxes here in just a bit. Then on the other hand, we have country Argyle. This is the one I get asked about quite often and that people end up falling in love with 1 acre minimum estate lots, and the town actually zones for it. You'll find custom homes and some with room for horses and maybe even your own barn. And you'll get some real space between you and your neighbor. This is where that wide price range and the true luxury tier live. Now, the biggest custom places on acreage will run you well past $1 million and beyond. But this particular Argyle comes with things a master plan buyer never thinks about. Things like your own well and your own septic system, which again, we're going to cover a little bit more in the cost section, because it's a real conversation that we need to have if you are even considering it. And one more community you'll hear about that's right next door is Lantana. People do tend to lump it in with Argyle because it does share the same zip code, but it's its own community. And here's the important part that you're probably going to want to know. Lantana is part of Denton ISD, not Argyle ISD. So don't always assume, like I'm always talking about. So that's what I'm here for if you do have questions. So feel free to reach out at any time. I also do keep a full Argyle page over on my website that breaks these areas down if you want to go a little bit deeper. And looming over all of it is a brand new community called Furst Ranch. This is a massive new construction development that's going in right on Argyle's doorstep. It's located just north of 1171 and right off Highway 377. There will be thousands of homes built in Furst Ranch, plus real retail, and they will even have future Argyle schools located within the community. This particular community will be built out over decades, and it has just barely gotten started. Now, Furst Ranch is also going to bring the shopping and dining in that Argyle doesn't already have today, and with it is going to bring a lot more traffic. So it is for sure worth knowing that it's coming. It just may take a little bit in order to actually get here. All right, now let's get into the schools, because for a lot of families, this is the entire reason that Argyle is on their short list. Argyle ISD is one of the very best small school districts here in North Texas. Niche gives it an A+ rating overall and an A+ for academics. It ranks at number 1 in Denton County and a top 10 in the whole state of Texas. The state accountability rating comes back an A for Argyle ISD, and the graduation rate is up around 99%. It is a smaller district, so it's got that everybody knows everybody feel about it, and it just keeps growing. They've added new school campuses, built a huge new football stadium at the high school, and there's a bond that's funding even more growth. But here's the boundary trap I promised you, and it's a real one in this area because the Argyle name covers so much ground. The school districts underneath don't all match. Parts of Harvest and Canyon Falls actually are going to fall into Northwest ISD, not just Argyle ISD. Lantana, like I said, is zoned to Denton ISD. So you can buy a home with an Argyle mailing address and it might not even be in Argyle ISD at all. This is the single biggest school mistake that I do see here in the Argyle area. So just make sure to verify the assigned district and the exact campus, as always, to make sure that you're landing where you actually want to be. You don't want to just check the zip code. And if you reach out to me for help, I am able to help tailor your search a lot more through my MLS than you're able to do online on your own. And even though I am asked quite often, I'm never going to tell a family which district is going to be better because that is always going to be your own call to make. My job, though, is to make sure you actually know which one you're buying into. Again, there is a page on each of these districts over on my website. There's also the Ask Kristen chat that can pull up if a question hits you during your search and you want to check it out rather quickly. And how about the commute if you move to Argyle? The honest version, Argyle is still considered country living, so you'll want to make sure to plan your drive. The good news is that access is better than country makes it sound. With the Interstate 35 West right there, it runs straight down to the Alliance Corridor, and it's a huge North Fort Worth job hub with companies like Amazon, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and a large FedEx hub as well. And that's Argyle's closest big employment base with roughly maybe a 15 to 20 minute drive. You'll also have the city of Denton located a quick 15 to 20 minutes if you're headed straight north. And if you're heading to DFW Airport, it could take you around maybe 30 minutes via the 114, but the harder direction to get to from Argyle is definitely going to be over to downtown Dallas. There are cities like Las Colinas and downtown Dallas, which are going to take you more like at least 45 minutes to over an hour or more, depending on traffic and the route that you take. You won't find the DART rail out here either, and there's no dense job corps in the town of Argyle. And if you have to travel on the 35 West at rush hour, it can be a real beating. So if you're a daily Dallas commuter, Argyle is going to be a bit of a stretch. It's built for the Fort Worth side of the Metroplex and for the Alliance area, or more for the remote and hybrid type of a crowd. If both of you work, just make sure and map both drives before you actually commit. Always. Now, let's talk more about cost. And Argyle has a couple of wrinkles you won't find in a normal suburb. The median single-family sale price runs around $567,000, but that median price point hides a huge range because remember, we have two types of Argyles. Your more typical homes land in the high 400s to maybe $500,000 range, but the acreage and custom tier homes are going to climb into at least the 800s and well over $1 million at the top. So the cheap country living idea does not really hold once you're actually buying land here. Land is going to be the premium. And then we have the taxes. That's two things. One, the same as Prosper with the master plan communities like Harvest, Canyon Falls that are often built on a MUD. So even though Argyle ISD's rate is pretty reasonable, a MUD can push your effective tax rate up past 2.5% depending on the neighborhood. The pretty new construction communities carry those higher tax rates precisely because they're master planned. Now your country estate Argyle though usually doesn't have that MUD tax, but we're going to double check all of that just to make sure, always, like I said. And two, and this is the one nobody from the suburbs expects, we're going to check if the home has a well and a septic system. A lot of the true acreage Argyle homes aren't going to be located on city water and sewer systems. They're going to have a private well and a septic system on their property. Now that shouldn't be a deal breaker though. Tons of families love it, especially that no water bill. But it is going to be a real inspection item and a real maintenance responsibility for the homeowner. You're going to want that well and that septic system checked out thoroughly before you buy. The same way that you'd inspect the rest of the home and the roof. If you've only ever owned in a subdivision, this is going to be a new conversation for you. And it's exactly the kind of thing I walk families through. And of course, there's going to be no Texas state income tax, which still matters a lot for families coming from California, New York, and New Jersey, or Illinois. Now, a quick note on the lifestyle. In the master plan parts, your social life is going to already be built in for you. With a farm, the gardens, the festivals, and the pools, or living on acreage, it's going to be quite a bit quieter, and it's more about the land and the horses and the wide open space. Either way, the big retail and dining are going to be a bit of a drive. You're going to be heading into Flower Mound or Highland Village for your Target and Walmart runs and most of your restaurants. And youth sports for the bigger leagues often means driving to a larger neighboring town. That's just the way small town life is. So the honest trade-offs here, there's very little in-town shopping and dining. It's for sure going to be car dependent for everything you need. And if you're living on acreage, you'll need to be prepared for the upkeep and most likely having a well and septic system. The MUD communities are also going to carry that higher tax rate, and the land here is no longer considered cheap. So who is Argyle not for? If you want walkability, restaurants, and more things to do at night right out your door, or having a shorter commute to downtown Dallas, this isn't going to be it. If you want a turnkey, low maintenance, everything nearby lifestyle, then the master plan parts might get you closer, but the country parts won't. And if you're assuming the Argyle name guarantees Argyle ISD, please make sure to verify because it doesn't. So here's the bottom line. Argyle is a genuinely special fit for a family that wants top-tier schools, real space, and a quieter land-first life. Whether that's a new home in Harvest with the farm and the pools, or acreage with room for horses. Just get clear on which Argyle you're buying. Verify which school district the house you're looking at is zoned for. And if it's acreage, do your homework on the well and the septic systems and any other zoning that goes with it. And if you are able to nail those, Argyle is going to be hard to beat for what it is. Now, if you're still in research mode, go ahead, grab that free DFW family relocation guide over on my website. But if you're ready for me to help you sort out which Argyle fits you and start to pull some of the right listings that are there, then head over to Get Started, or as always, I'm just a phone call, text, or email away. And yes, it is me that you're going to get on the phone, and I cannot wait. And we can figure out your version of Argyle together. There's no fluff over here and definitely no pressure. I just love providing you with real information so that you can make the right decision for your family and to help you narrow down that perfect fit. So until next time, as always, take care.